Hello, this is John with Brainstorm Comics and Gaming, and we are starting a new video series this week where we review comic books. This week, my guest is Chris. Show me the love.
There it goes.
I'm gonna have one.
Do you have these like written down? I don't know. Like, are you like?
Do you see anything?
No,
right
they're
now?
just. Are you just off the heading? Okay, cool. All right, I got you.
Maybe at my home I have a Rolodex.
Okay, I was gonna say somewhere there's a folder on your phone.
For you kids at home, Rolodexes used to be this thing that you would. Anyway. So we are going to cover 2 books. Originally, we were going to cover 4, but I don't get to sleep, so it got trimmed down to 2. Now you would think like, oh, you don't get to sleep, so that means you should get to do more. But no, that's not how it works.
I mean, I'll take some of the blame for this too, because you didn't sleep. I didn't like the one book and just stopped reading it like 3 pages in.
So you and I both like horror books. You and I both like number ones. Yes. You and I both liked or chose the 2 books that we are getting ready to cover this week. Mm-hmm. So the first book that we decided to cover was Eat the Rich from Boom Studios, written by Sarah Gailey and Pius Back. Pius Back being the artist. So I'll ask you, what was your initial reaction to reading to the story?
I was kind of excited for this one. I like you said, I like number ones. I like independent stuff. I like horror books. It seemed really cool. The covers were anything that Jenny does. I'm good with. I didn't like this book as much as I thought I was going to, honestly.
I think that it was hurt by predictability.
Very much. Yeah, they put it all out on the table right away.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a much better book if they'd have held back a little bit.
So this book, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, who didn't know about it, is this woman who's in college is going to go meet her boyfriend's parents for the first time. He is very wealthy. She is clearly not of that same world and feels very out of place with his status in the world and his family status in the world. So she's got a lot of anxiety going there. And he starts off with a lot of anxiety also.
It flips very quickly, yeah. Which was a little odd. I think it felt a little like herky-jerky. I don't know any other way. Like that was like the first kind of phrase that came to mind. Like the panels felt a little disjointed in the beginning, and there was a couple things that like I had to kind of go back and like reread some panels because I thought I'd missed something and I hadn't. They just kind of like jumped the shark a little bit.
See, I like those first couple pages because, like I said, it's set up that he also feels very strange about going to go see his family and friends.
The first quarter of the book, maybe the first 3 or 4 pages of the book, definitely I was good with, and I was like, okay, I like where this is going, and then it really.
And he apparently has stopped drinking, which is one of the reasons.
He was like recently sober, and they're there for their summer, and it just kind of like hit high gear after that, and really.
So the next thing is we arrive at the house, and there are going to be some spoilers in this. So if you haven't read it yet and don't want any spoilers, you may not want to watch the review. But so she gets introduced to the family, mm-hmm. and she makes the cardinal mistake of wanting to take her own bags into the house. That specific moment was I think like one of the first times that I had to like reread and go back. It almost seems like there's a panel missing or something going on there where. You didn't think it transitioned well?
Yeah, I don't think that transition was very well. Like the dialogue seemed a little weird, and it was kind of hard to tell who was talking at that point. And I think that part of that was the art in the book, which I'm not a super duper fan of. So it was a little confusing at that, like who's talking, who's trying to take this girl's bag, why are they taking her bag? So that kind of took me a second to like figure out what was going on.
So it apparently immediately put her in like the sights of her boyfriend's mm-hmm. parents because they're like, "Why are you trying to take your own bags? We got these
security guards apparently, like giant men in suit." It was very confusing at that point. Yeah. I didn't like that so much.
So then she also meets the nanny,
mm-hmm.
and who is then told to take the baby out to the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Due to her feeling kind of anxious, she goes out on the beach as well and finds the nanny.
Yeah.
And the nanny tries to give her some advice, and
Yeah. This is where it kind of lost me. The book really kind of lost me at this point. It was like they're being very vague and kind of like trying to be slick about it, but
it's very overt.
Yeah, it's like the dialogue is very like kind of shifty and they're like alluding to things, but the art in the book is not, and being very blatant about what's going on.
So my thing is this, and it's the same thing that people have a lot of problems with horror movies in general. If you were in this situation and you were having this conversation, you'd be like, what's going on here?
Right. Yeah, and it was just like she's like saying like these things and like, oh, you kind of need to be careful about this, that, and the other thing, and then it's like panel with baby and jawbone and sand. And then, like, she kind of goes on, and then it's like...
And none of them say anything about the jawbone?
Right.
Like, how did the protagonist girl not know... Like, not see the jawbone?
Right, because obviously it's right next to the baby. It's, like, sticking out of the sand.
Well, she had it in her hand.
Yeah. Well, no, she had the hair clip in her hand.
No, the baby had the...
Oh, the baby had the... See, this is, like, I need to go back and read it, because, like...
And they're talking about sand in his mouth. I'm like, he's holding a jawbone!
Right, yeah. Which is... Yeah, it just didn't... There was a lot of it that, like... They kind of just all threw out there. Honestly, this book felt like it was like an anthology book, and they were just telling one story in one issue.
Yeah.
But didn't quite get to it all,
so
for me at least.
I will say I differ from you in that I did enjoy the book overall. I did have issues with it that I feel should have been, like...
I didn't hate it, and I'll buy issue 2 and kind of see where it goes. If it doesn't get any better, then I probably won't follow it much further. So I didn't dislike it. I didn't think it was a bad book. It just
so
disappointed a little.
And this is the major spoiler. So again, if you don't want a major spoiler, you may not want to. Does this woman know what happens to the help? Because it seems like she does.
It seems like she's figured it out really quick, and she's kind of just like, okay, whatever.
But why would you say as the nanny if you know what's going on?
Right.
She's still what, like in her maybe 20s or 30s?
Well, that's the other thing with like the way the book was drawn. It was a little hard for me to kind of discern like age on certain people. She seems like she's a younger person. Like she's got a septum piercing. But then it kind of leads me to think that like maybe the help is kind of in on this as well. Like maybe it's not so much of like a rich versus the poor kind of thing. So there's definitely a lot more they can go, further with. It just felt like it was just very, very like we're just laying it all out there. First issue, like we're not holding shit back.
I forget, is this a miniseries or an ongoing?
I don't remember.
I don't remember them promoting it as a miniseries.
I don't think it was promoted as a mini, which kind of makes me nervous too. Is it supposed to be an ongoing? Because where do we go from here? Like,
I think that what you'll probably see is her leading in insurrection against the rich, and
maybe,
just from the title being "Eat the Rich," because what happens is actually the opposite.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because they're not eating the rich, which they're eating the poor people. I don't know. 5 issues. It's 5 issues.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't bad. I don't know. I don't want this to seem like I'm giving it like a bad review or anything. I didn't think it was a bad book.
So if you were grading it, I mean, I would give it like a B-. Like it was entertaining. And...
Maybe a C. Let's see. Yeah, a solid C. Like a 6 out of 10. Yeah. I know that's like a D.
A decent read, but not one that you're necessarily...
Maybe this is one that's like going to be better served in like a trade format than like an issue by issue. But
yeah. Well, Boom does a pretty good job with their independent stuff.
Generally, they do. I'm a fan of their work, yeah.
So, I don't know. I would say it's worth the read. It sounds like you're more on the fence. Like,
yeah. I mean, I'm on the fence, but on the fence of I will definitely pick up the second issue and see where it goes. And then if it doesn't get any better for me, I'll probably drop it from there. But.
So, before we move on to the second one, don't forget to LCS, like, comment, and subscribe to the Brainstorm Comics and Gaming YouTube channel, your LCS local comic book shop. Also, don't forget to visit our stores. We have one in downtown Frederick. You can make a day trip of it, visit all the restaurants, breweries, bars. I feel like there's other things in the candy shops.
Candy shops, record stores.
Record stores. That's what I was forgetting, the record stores, your favorite.
All the record stores, yeah.
Or you can go out to Frederick if you're looking for back issues. We have probably 100,000 comics up on top.
There's a lot.
We have more that we bring in all the time. But moving on to our second review. The second book is Second Chances from Image Comic. This one, much like Eat the Rich, was by people that I had not heard of before. One is Ricky Mammone, and the artist is Max Bertolini. So this one is, if you're in trouble and you want to change your life, if you've done something that you need to get out of, you call the Second Chances hotline, who will hook you up with a new identity, but you have to sacrifice everything that you knew before. So that's the basic premise. How did you feel about it overall before we start going into the particulars of the story?
I like this book a lot. Yeah, definitely better than
Black and white book.
I'm a sucker for black and white books. This one definitely to me was a good one. It is a mini, so 4 or 6 issues, I can't remember. I'm definitely interested to see where this one goes. For sure.
I can see this one easily turn into a movie.
Yeah,
it's got a hook in it that's pretty.
And it was very much drawn and written like a typical like noir. Like you could definitely see like Humphrey Bogart or whatever, like smoking a cigarette. Like it felt like one of those movies. So they definitely succeeded in that.
So this one starts off with one of the Second Chance clients calling up. The guy who runs Second Chances, LeBlanc, I forget what his first name is, but
I forget.
But they call him up and they're like, "Hey, I've done something terrible. I'm going to end it all." And he's like, "No, don't do it. I can be there in a couple minutes." Clearly, the guy wants him to help him, or else why would he call him?
Yeah, and he says in the I liked how they started this one with that like inner monologue or inner dialogue or however you say it, with him talking about like
he doesn't care for anybody,
right? And like what Second Chances is, and explaining the process a little bit. It very much felt like one of those old like detective noir kind of movies, novels, and he mentions that he owes this guy a favor of some sort, and that's kind of the only thing that he believes in at this point, and is like repaying his favors. And then it escalates from there into violence and all kinds of.
So the guy is surrounded by dozens of dead bodies.
Lots of them.
We don't know what happened.
Nope.
At no point do we find out.
Mystery.
In the,
no,
we know.
Don't, yeah.
He has the gun to his head. And he says he's getting ready to kill himself. But like I said, I find it doubtful that he was really going to do it. Why call LeBlanc if that was?
I think the call was for him to get in contact with his family, or I believe. So it was kind of one of those like, I'm ending it, but I need you to take care of like my people kind of deal.
So he gets there, and the guy's like, "You shouldn't have come. I'm gonna kill myself." When somebody else bursts in on the scene,
assassins wearing Oni masks
start
come through the window all ninja style. Bullets are flying. Yeah, this book was super good. I think where, Eat the Rich kind of threw everything out there at once and kind of let you pick up the pieces and figure it all out for yourself. This one definitely like held some stuff back.
Well, see, halfway through the story, I was a little confused at first because we go off to this girl who works at this law firm or whatever, and I'm like, what does she have to do with anything going on? She's getting ready to quit her job. Her dad had gotten her this job. She's snooping in her boss's computer.
Who she hates.
Who
hates her as well.
Who apparently has a tickle fetish.
Yes, there's some shenanigans on his computer that she's just like going through after hours. It's like a pastime, which is hilarious.
And that's why I felt a little confused because I was like,
I definitely felt like that was kind of like, as someone who likes that kind of kind of mystery action, the kind of noir-y detective-y stuff, I figured that was going to be some part of the story and it was going to intersect, and it ends up intersecting in the end.
So she exits, prepared to leave or prepared to quit the next day when she runs into a person who had called her boss while she was there. And she gets abducted.
By some strange woman.
Yes, a very strange woman.
Very strange woman. Who doesn't get any less strange as the book goes on.
And ends up going to her parents' house and starts murdering people, which coincides with the... Again, spoilers for this if you don't want spoilers.
There's a lot of murder in this book.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
So she went to her house and was there killing everybody there. And it turns out she was the daughter of the guy who was at the initial person that had called him.
Yep.
So, so then I was a little bit. I felt a little bit better about the lawyer thing because I was very confused as to.
Yeah, like this random person in the, yeah. Yeah. So there's all these questions about what did the mystery weird lady do to this young person? How does she connect with the second chances?
Well, apparently she knows LeBlanc.
Yeah, she knows LeBlanc and has, I guess, has some beef with him. It seems like.
My guess is that they were dating or something. And
there definitely is that, like, there's those undertones there. I think this was a fantastic first issue for a series. I think this is like the way you should do it. They gave you enough to like keep you hooked and want to read more. But didn't kind of let the whole story unfold.
You have questions still.
Yeah, there's definitely questions. Like, it makes you want to read more. I love the art in it.
The art was beautiful.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when people do black and white, they go very simple. Like this is very detailed black and white.
It had a very like kind of like watercolory, like painterly kind of thing going on. It felt like very like smoke stained and dirty at points, like it should, you know what I mean? Where I think Eat the Rich was very kind of colorful and in your face and kind of blatant with everything. This very much casted that like somber.
I think the artwork on both of them kind of met the kind of story that they were trying to tell.
Yeah,
like Eat the Rich, I think was trying to tell like bright, happy colors, but there's darkness underneath,
right.
Like what's going on. Yeah. Whereas this one is like a black and white. Like, there's good and there's bad.
Right.
There's
like you could smell the scotch and the cigarette smoke in this one. You know, like it felt. I think that Second Chances definitely.
I love the cover for Second Chances.
The cover was great. Yeah, front to back, I think this was a really cool book. Yeah.
So if you had to grade this one, what would you grade it at?
Like a B plus. Yeah.
I'd give it a B plus.
Yeah.
I think it's clearly a superior first issue to Eat the Rich, but like I said, I liked both of them. Mm-hmm. But I feel like this one was a more well-rounded story than the other one.
For sure. And Eat the Rich might come around and might surprise me more. But Second Chances was a much better first issue for sure.
So we will finish up with our cover of the week. I know that you have a hard choice ahead of you because there was two Jenny Frisons. There was a Nightwing. Well. Two Nightwing covers that you could have picked.
Yeah.
So what did you end up going with?
I ended up going with the Nightwing B cover.
You and Bitewing.
Me and Bitewing. I love me some Bitewing. Man, Bitewing is great. That was a super hard one. I love Jenny Frison. It's no secret. I have a pretty big collection of her covers. I hunt a lot for them. I think both.
That you bought at Brainstorm Comics and Gaming in Walkersville, Maryland.
I bought a bunch of them at Brainstorm Comics and Gaming in Walkersville, Maryland. Yes. I think the A cover and the B cover for Nightwing this week were super, super good. And if I had to pick one, which I have to pick one, it was definitely the B cover because of Bitewing. But the A cover was super good too. I think they both they're great comic covers. They have everything you want in those covers. But I think they both really accurately describe what's going on in that book right now and have the feel of what's happening in Nightwing's world and what's going on in that book. So yeah, that was my choice for that one.
Yeah, as soon as I saw the Nightwing covers, I was like, these are two great covers.
It's like the building with like the fire escape and the acrobatics and him like changing from Nightwing into the suit and going in front of the people was great. And then the B cover, my favorite, of him walking Bitewing in his suit, like on his phone, like on Twitter or something, I thought was great. Yeah.
Everybody loves Bitewing.
Bitewing is great. Everyone loves a three-legged pupper.
I sure. So, for me, I liked the Nightwing covers very, very much. As you and I have discussed, I'm not quite as big of a fan of Jenny Frison as you are. She's an above-average artist, but not quite what I like in a cover.
That's an entire video of us arguing about Jenny Frison covers. If you come to Walkersville, you'll hear us. Yeah, it's almost a daily conversation.
But I ended up going with the Second Chances cover. When I saw it initially in previews, it was one that I was like, this is going to be...
That one was a close second for me, too. It was a really good cover, for sure.
I'm a sucker for anything that's black and white with a little bit of splash of color in it that sort of accentuates the book. Kind of like you were saying, he's there smoking the cigarette, and I don't know. I feel like this book has a lot of opportunity to be one that grows into something. I wish it were more than just a miniseries, but
for sure. And it might end up being that maybe if it gets enough, maybe they'll offshoot it.
Well, they could always do like a series of miniseries because I'm sure you could do like, oh, this person needs a new identity, this person needs a new identity, and just keep going from there. But, and him keep getting into trouble and this girl keep popping up at some point.
A lot of trouble to get into. Yes.
Because we still have to explore why he got into the business and everything. Maybe that's part of what the setup is. But like I said, that was probably my favorite cover of the week.
It was a good one for sure. It was a tough week. There was a lot of good covers this week.
I will say that we have a lot of great covers generally in comic books right now. I will say, and it's going to sound funny seeing it's the book I just chose for cover of the week, I do wish that there were more colors on books because it does seem like they use a lot of blacks now, a lot of like heavy.
It does seem to, and DC especially seems to be hitting that like the darker tones of just their whole thing in general right now seems to be much darker than Marvel.
Yeah.
But there was so much good stuff. Like the Moon Knight A cover was really good this week. I like that Kang cover, the A Kang cover with the crazy sand and the dinosaur, the hourglass and the dinosaurs. There was a lot good this week. Yeah,
that's so to me, a great cover is. I hate the static posed ones, and I've told you that's one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of Jenny Frison. I feel like a lot of hers are kind of posed covers. That's why I'm not a big fan of J. Scott Campbell. A lot of his feel very posed, and I like covers that kind of give you an indication of what's on the interior, or give you an indication of what the character's about, or what have you.
I think for me, her covers are a lot deeper than just the initial. I was explaining this to somebody the other day, and I said she's like the opposite of Alex Ross, where like everything Alex Ross does is like big and giant and shiny and just huge, and hers would feel very like small and intimate, and there's a lot of like close poses and faces and eyes and focusing on lips and stuff like that, which I think it portrays a lot artistically that you don't often see in cover work, where covers are usually generally big and there's stuff and it's explosions and craziness and like I feel like it pulls you in very close.
I got you.
So, which is kind of the opposite of what I generally like about covers. Like you said, I'm not a huge fan of like static poses, even though I love her stuff. I like covers that portray, movement and color and pull you in. That's what you see. Like that's what, you know what I mean? Like that's what is the book. Like there's so many books out there that are trash stories.
In comics, we do judge by the cover.
We do judge by the cover. Yeah. There's tons of trash stories out there, but great covers, and those books succeed more than others. So, it's definitely, that's what makes you pick the book sometimes is a good cover. So
we'll end our reviews there. We want to know what you guys think. What did you think of Eat the Rich? What did you think of Second Chances? And what was your favorite cover of the week? Was there one that we missed that you think was even better than the ones that we chose? Don't forget to LCS, like, comment, and subscribe to the Brainstorm Comics YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. Hopefully we have another one of these next week. We'll try and choose some more number ones to hopefully get you excited about some more books out there on the wall. Have a good day.
Buy more comics.